John Friend started plotting to get a college wrestling scholarship for his son Jim and Jim's brother Mark when they were in junior high.
As a parent, I wanted to have the odds in our favor as best I could.
So he turned to a company called College Prospects of America.
Getting recruited is one thing, getting an offer is another thing. So the best thing to do is get in contact with as many schools as possible.
With so many schools interested in him because of College Prospects, Jim Friend says he gained some negotiating leverage. He's now wrestling on a partial scholarship at Northwestern. His brother accepted one at Penn State.
It's a way for the kid to get some more exposure that might put him over the top over somebody else.
With the Fox Focus, Mark Saxenmeyer, Fox News, Chicago.
Collegiate athletic recruiting is a proactive process. Even athletes who are considered blue-chip prospects are now marketing themselves to colleges and universities. They understand by having multiple schools recruiting them, they can use leverage that allows them to continue participating in their chosen sport. They make it happen. They're calling the shots. You should be doing the same. The fact that you are watching this presentation means that you'll be selecting a college with your son or daughter in the near future. Many students and parents think playing a sport for scholarship money will give them a leg up in the increasingly competitive process of applying to college. But coaches and administrators said in interviews that parents and athletes were unprepared to effectively navigate the system. If you learn nothing else from this video presentation, please understand this. The recruiting process starts early, with only so much money for college available, and the matter of receiving that money for college is complicated and widely misunderstood.
Well, pro athletes have agents to look after their best interests, but for athletes looking to begin a university career, there isn't much help. Now, as Mark Bunting reports, there is a company in Canada that has been trying to help young Canadian athletes with that choice.
Todd Slatnik wants a U.S. scholarship. Initially, he wrote to universities himself, but found that to be an overwhelming task. He decided to hook up with College Prospects instead.
Like I was matched with something close to 650 schools in the U.S.
Nice to see those letters and offers come in, and they do. There's a lot of interest in Canadian players. They seem to like our guys, and that's really positive.
It was great. The response was excellent.
For nearly 25 years, College Prospects has helped thousands of gifted student athletes find the best education at the best price possible, while providing a young man or woman with an opportunity to continue playing their chosen sport. Many an athlete has signed an offer sheet to attend a school that was not the right fit because it was the only offer they received. And after a year or two on campus, they either quit the team or transfer. That's not something you want for your son or daughter.
Susie Gale, number 43 on the Medina High School Battling Bees in Ohio. Like millions of high school athletes, she's worried about getting a chance to play in college and getting financial aid.
I wasn't sure if I was good enough or if it would work out.
The parents feel the pressure, the student athlete feels the pressure. You know, am I good enough to do what I would like to do?
Small schools like Lewis University here in Romeoville, Illinois, don't have big budgets to recruit high school students. They can't send scouts around the country, so they are eager to hear about high school prospects.
Set.
At Lewis, Leon Davis gets a free ride, athletic money, grants, and work study.
It's kind of expensive, but you get all your money back through scholarship money. So that's how I looked at it.
That's why Susie Gale and her parents were willing to pay. College Prospect sent her profile to 823 schools. She's had letters of interest from about 10% of them, 75 so far. Getting to play in college is no longer just competitive. It's business. For America Close Up, Bob Kerr, NBC News, Romeoville, Illinois.
College is a business. They need students to survive. One of your priorities is to become a smarter shopper and understand how the process works regarding the published costs of those various institutions. College Prospects calculates for its clients the expected family contribution, or EFC. The EFC is a number determined by the Federal Department of Education that almost all colleges and universities take into account when considering how much a family can afford to pay toward a student-athlete's college bill each year. It also serves as a starting point as schools begin to work out a financial aid package for a student-athlete. Knowing and understanding your EFC is the first step in making actual sticker price comparisons among schools your son or daughter is considering. Here are 3 hypothetical schools: Parma, which is priced as a typical public university; John Hope, a private school in the average price range nationally; and Ivy Halls, a high-end private liberal arts college. Too often, these published costs alone are the primary factor in deciding where a student-athlete attends school. But it shouldn't be. Before financial aid enters the picture, Ivy Halls cost almost $25,000 more annually than Parma. But our in-depth analysis demonstrates that, for many students, the expensive Ivy Halls turns out to be $3,000 less. That's less out of pocket than the state school Parma. Understand that a family's EFC, the amount they can theoretically afford to pay, is the same no matter how much a college costs. But an expensive school's bottom line cost can change dramatically, depending on the lengths the coach and the institution will go to recruit an in-demand student-athlete, provided they know where to find them, and how much flexibility they have with the numbers. The right opportunity is out there, and that's why it is critical to proactively market your son or daughter to lots of schools where he or she can compete athletically and thrive academically. It is equally important to keep every option open with as many schools as possible for as long as possible during the recruiting process. Receiving aid for college is competitive. The more informed the athlete and parents, the better the opportunity to receive significant funding for college.
Jill Jacobson is a golfer at Blue Springs High School. She wanted to go away to college, but girls golf isn't a sport that grabs a lot of media attention. There were few options for her until she hooked up with a company called College Prospects.
It's really hard for a girl to get the press or the attention that she needs to be able for a big school or a school to see her. I don't think that if I wouldn't have been a part of College Prospects that I would have been out of Missouri.
Jill ended up receiving a scholarship that pays about 3/4 of her schooling.
As we've stated, collegiate athletic recruiting is a proactive process. Before any money can be determined and offered, coaches have to know who and where and what qualifications the student-athlete has. Families that sit back and wait for college coaches to find them are traveling a dangerous road. In order for your son or daughter to play a sport at the collegiate level, they need to get in and pass through as many collegiate recruiting funnels as possible. And what do we mean by collegiate recruiting funnel? To help explain is longtime Division I radio broadcaster Dick Shore.
So how do you beat the odds? How do you get noticed? It may help to think of each college sifting through the recruiting process using a giant funnel, and getting the school to know about you puts you in the top. If you don't at least get into the top of the funnel, there's no chance of coming out the bottom. Coaches use a series of eliminators which stop the flow of certain players through the funnel. They must agree that you have the ability to play at the level their school competes. If you pass that test, the coach must decide if there's a roster spot available for you. Even if you clear that hurdle, the school will still want to know how serious you are about them. They may send you a questionnaire just to see if you're as interested in their school as they are in you. The next step would be an evaluation of your game films. If they're still interested, they'll make a phone call to your coach about you. Then, they may schedule a meeting with you in person at your high school campus or at home. You may also be invited to the college campus for a paid or an official visit. Right now, things seem great. It looks like you might really get to compete at the college level, something you've always dreamed about. But wait, you have not emerged from the funnel just yet. In fact, this period in the recruiting process can be dangerous because you are so close to realizing your goal that you may not recognize the important closing step, the offer. Not until the coach has formally offered you have you successfully passed through the recruiting funnel. So how do you improve the odds? What is your best chance for being awarded a college scholarship or a similar financial aid package? You've got to get into as many funnels as you can. The more funnels you get into, the better your chance of emerging as the athlete who receives offers. And if you move through multiple funnels, the ultimate benefit is bargaining power. You call the shots. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to be making the choices. If you are not in enough funnels, your choices will be limited. If only one school would offer you an opportunity, you will be forced to accept their terms if you want their offer. Most importantly, you should choose the offer from the school that best suits you. This is the reason why it is so important for you to have lots of coaches contacting you, and that you respond to every coach who does.
At first glance, 6'1" Jill Davis of Thomas Worthington High School looks like somebody that college volleyball coaches would be after in a second.
I wasn't being seen. Coaches weren't seeing who I was. They didn't know I existed.
With just 2 letters after her sophomore year, Jill's mom decided they better do something about it. They turned to former Buckeye kicker Josh Jackson, who now works for a service called College Prospects of America. Her 2 letters turned into over 200 letters from coaches at every level in all divisions. Jill is getting looks from all over the place.
It gives coaches a chance to look at me and say, oh, you know, there is this girl out there who could make a contribution to our team.
In a survey, coaches at the Division I and II levels were asked how early they start tracking high school prospects. 30% begin when they're freshmen, 45% start when they're sophomores, 25% wait until the athlete's junior year, and no coaches reported they wait to track high school prospects in their senior year.
If a student athlete isn't being recruited by the middle of his or her junior year, the recruiters themselves say chances are good he or she won't ever be recruited. But that doesn't mean there isn't hope.
There is hope, and for nearly 25 years, College Prospects of America has continuously helped thousands of talented student athletes from all over the world receive money for college from coaches who in many cases had no idea these athletes existed. Our expert guidance assures those families who use our program they will better understand the entire collegiate process and how to make it work in their favor. This video has only scratched the surface of a very complicated and widely misunderstood process of athletic recruiting and receiving money for college. Obviously, you will have questions, and we invite you to contact your local College Prospects representative or us at the home office. We can help with guidance as to what avenue to approach in order to become a smarter shopper of colleges and universities for your son or daughter.
The best thing about it is it's opened up the doors from East Coast, West Coast, North and South, from all sorts of different schools that otherwise we wouldn't have ever had contact with.
I was just amazed on how much response I got and how many people were interested in me, because there's just hardly anybody interested in me before the College Prospects.